Hey guys. Okay, so hang around me long enough and you would know that one of my favourite sayings of all time is it's giving me pre-1911 vibes. Now, when I used to say that to people out on site, they would naturally go, but why? Why is it giving you those pre-1911 vibes? At the time, I used to go, in the words of the castle, it's just the vibe. It's Mabo, it's the Constitution, it's just the vibe, man. Like I really had nothing else, it was just the vibe. So earlier this year, I thought, you know what, I need to get a bit serious about this. I need to get a bit more professional about all of this, and I need to do some research to work out exactly why it is giving me pre-1911 vibes. Now, what I came up with was essentially a list of 10 different features that I look at when I'm analysing a house, or analysing is the best way to say it. Things from roof form, balustrading to gable designs, internal wall cladding, external wall design, window shapes, doors, front stairs, chimney, floor plans. You get the idea. So I thought, hey, why don't I use this week's video to give you a high-level overview of all of the features that I came up with in this little cheat sheet here. So let's start with roof form. So firstly, is it a typical pre-1911 feature roof form, like a A-frame roof form or an M-frame roof form? Is it a pyramid which has a continuous sheet of metal coming from the ridge right down to the edge of the veranda? Or is it like a kickback roof form? So you've got the pyramid and then it kicks out ever so slightly across the veranda. Or is it just a pyramid roof form which has got a curved, detached veranda sort of roof form over the top? All of those are typical pre-1911 features. Or is it like a multi-gable roof form? Now, 3 or more gables is something you would typically see from the 1920s onwards. Balustrading. Is it wrought iron balustrading, cross-brace balustrading, 2 or 3 dowel balustrading where the dowel comes down and feeds through the bottom rail? Those are all very pre-1911 features. Or is it something like the flat batten sort of feature balustrade which has that stenciled cookie cutter heart shape or tulip shaped pattern weaved into it, which is typically a more modern sort of balustrade? Gable detailing. So is it a gable that has the timber that runs straight from the top right to the bottom? Or is it a gable that has that same timber detailing but it has something floating over the top? Or is it a gable that has that timber triangle detailing that is built into the original wall? The first two are typical pre-1911 features. The last one, that built-in timber detailing, is typically a post-1911 feature. Next, internal wall cladding. Does it have horizontal wall cladding? Now that's not pre-1911, that's more pre-1900, but yeah, if you see that, that's just an instant alarm bell to go, oh, this house is old. Next, external wall detailing. So does it have that cross-bracing support pattern on the outside? Again, super, super old. Now, going back to last week's video, does it have wider profile timber boards on the outside? Again, back in the day, we used to fell more mature tree stock, therefore we had wider profile boards. These days, we fell less mature tree stock, so we have narrower boards. So again, that's an external feature that we look for in trying to determine, is it earlier in pre-1911 or is it post-1911? Windows, this is probably the first thing. No, roof is probably the first thing I look at, and then windows is number 2. So is it like a sash window where you open it up? They're typically called like double hung windows. Or is it what I call a tripartite window? Don't know if that's how you pronounce it. It's how I pronounce it, where you have that center sort of sash window and then the 2 panels either side. They are typically pre-1911 window shapes. Or is it a casement window that opens outwards like that? Or a bay window? They are more typical 20s and 30s sort of shaped windows. Doors. Is it one of those big, grand, fancy timber doors with the glazing on the side? You typically see them at the front door to the house. Or is it a door which has a low handle, sort of a hip height handle? Or is it a door which has a high handle? Typically, the fancy front doors and the low door handles are pre-1911. The high door handles were fashionable in like the 20s or 30s. Stairs. So is it a real grand, wide staircase or a butterfly staircase? Something that's really fancy and over the top? Or is it just a stock, standard, narrow, straight down sort of staircase? Again, the first 2 are pre-1911, typical features. The narrow ones are more modern sort of features. Chimney. If you've got a brick chimney, it's 99% sure going to be a pre-1911 house. And then floor plan. If you have really narrow sort of floor plans where it's only like 1 room deep, it's probably going to be a pre-1911 house. Now, the thing you need to know with all of this is if you see like 1 or 2 features, yeah, that's not really telling you much. But if you see a whole heap of these features, or more importantly, if you see a heap of the hard to change features, then it is probably going to be pre-1911. Now, the things to watch out for, like you typically see on houses, verandas, so side verandas, things like that, they typically enclosed in like the 40s, 50s, even later, the 60s. When they were enclosed, people used the materials that were available at the time, so you often see casement windows. So you can't just turn up to a house if it's got an enclosed veranda and go, oh, it's got casements, it means it's 1920s or 30s. No, not the case. You've got to work out, okay, what's original, what's not original, where was the original portion of the house, what materials and what features are present on those original portions of the house. The other thing to keep in mind is that people hold on to the nostalgia and sometimes the cost effectiveness of the old features. So people choose old designs and replicate them going forward into the future. So yeah, if you see an old design that ticks all of these boxes, it's not necessarily going to mean it was built in those early days. Now, what else did I want to say? I wanted to say that if you're one of our existing Design Pro clients or Design Pro clients, we're not going to do Christmas cards or Christmas gifts this year. What we're actually doing is sending out this little Charlie flip book. It's basically a cheat sheet or a collation of cheat sheets for you guys. It's probably going to go out in January. I'm going to start handing it out to clients in meetings in the next couple of weeks, but after that we'll do a mass mail out and delivery in January. So if you're one of our regular clients, you will get a copy of my cheat sheet that I've done here, which has all the pretty little images in it. You'll get that. If you're not one of our regular clients, this is one of those fact sheets that I do want to release out there for everyone generally. So once I've handed it out to our regular clients, my intention is to release a select few of the cheat sheets from this flip book to you guys. So keep an eye out on social media, because I think it's one of these things that it's really going to help build awareness. It's really going to encourage people to start asking questions sooner, all of that sort of stuff, which is in everyone's interest. So it's one of those things that I do think is better out there than kept in private. So yeah, I will start to share that in the new year. So keep an eye out on our social media if you would like a copy of that. Now, there was another point that I was going to make and it's just slipped my mind. So we've talked through all the features. We've talked through the fact that you can't rely on certain ones. You need to collate them. Oh, I don't think I talked about the hard to change stuff. So when it comes to looking at certain features, the doors, obviously doors are easy to change. You can go and swap them out for high handle instead of low handle ones. In my own house, I've got a couple of high handle ones that throw you off the curve, scent, throw you a bit of a curveball. Whereas if you're looking at things like roof forms or gable detailing, they're less likely to change. So they're the things you can more fixate on and attach on. That's the other point I was going to make. What do you do if you have a house that's giving you pre-1911 vibes? What's the next step in the process? That's a long story, but that is what I hope to cover off in next week's video. So check out next week's video if you want to know what the steps are once you've decided that house is giving you pre-1911 vibes. Okay, that covers off everything I want to talk about today. As I always say, until next time, thanks for watching.
For all you red tape lovers out there, I have one thing to say. Well, no, actually, I've got three. Number one, the advice provided in these videos is general in nature. It's not site-specific. You would be a silly Billy to go and make financial decisions based on this advice without first checking with the town planner. Don't be a silly Billy. Number two, Brisbane town planning is in no way linked to Brisbane City Council. The views expressed in these videos are my own, not council's. So if you don't like them, blame me, not council. Number three, what was my number three? Oh yeah, the views expressed in these videos are accurate at the time of recording. If you're watching this video back 10 years from now, the views may not be so accurate. That's all.